The day the fancy car pulled up to our rundown shack, I knew things were about to change. A man and a woman, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, stepped out. They were rich, looking for a kid to adopt. My sister Sarah froze for a second, a spark of hope in her eyes. Then she did something totally unexpected. She hugged our grandma real tight and pouted. "I want to stay with grandma." Mrs. Thompson looked at me, a kind smile on her face. "So, you're coming with us then?" Sarah jumped in, quick as a whip. Yeah, take my sister. She's the one you want." Grandma, who usually got the short end of the stick from Sarah, was surprised. Sarah was always complaining about being poor, bossing Grandma around, even making her go out in the rain to get snacks she craved. Grandma knew Sarah dreamed of being rich, so why, when the chance came, did Sarah push it away? Grandma was confused, but I knew exactly why. Both Sarah and I remembered what happened before. We'd both lived this life already. I knelt down and bowed to Grandma 3 times. "Grandma, thank you for everything. If I ever get the chance, I promise I'll make it up to you." Then, I stood up and walked over to the Thompsons. "I'll go with you." In my first life, Sarah had jumped at the chance to go with the Thompsons. She thought it would be like a fairy tale, all riches and happiness. But the Thompsons had a secret reason for adopting a girl. They had a son named Ben. Ben was good-looking, but he had serious problems, violent mood swings, and could be totally out of control. Sarah walked into their house expecting love, but Ben hated strangers. He greeted her with a smack across the face. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson didn't care. They just told Sarah to look after her new brother, not making a fuss about her red, stinging cheek. At school, the other kids picked on Sarah, calling her the adopted charity case. The worst bully was a kid named Alex, who led the pack. Life was miserable for her. At home, if Ben had a meltdown at school and got hurt, the Thompsons would beat Sarah with a stick and make her kneel all night. Sarah's life was terrible. Mine, on the other hand, was peaceful. With Sarah gone, Grandma showered all her love on me. I did well in school, and after class, I helped Grandma sell baked sweet potatoes. Life was hard, but I was happy. Later, a man from the Agricultural Academy visited our school and saw something special in me. I didn't let him down. I got into the agricultural college and worked with the scientists there, developing a new, super strong type of wheat. I was even nominated for the Young Scientist Award, the biggest honor for someone my age. My future was bright, full of possibilities. Meanwhile, Sarah, constantly abused, went completely crazy. She hurt her adoptive family and ended up in jail. But I never made it to the award ceremony. That was the day Sarah broke out of jail. Her eyes were burning with jealousy as she saw me in the spotlight. She ran up and stabbed me. So, having lived through all that, Sarah didn't hesitate to stay with Grandma. She wanted me to fall into the same trap she had. As I left, I turned back to see Grandma crying, Sarah clinging to her, eyes full of hate. She sneered, "This time it's your turn to go through hell." She thought that joining the Thompson family meant I'd suffer like she did. But didn't Sarah get it after dying once? No matter what path you take, if you don't use your head, it's a dead end. Sarah wasn't completely wrong. From the moment I arrived, I knew Ben was completely off the rails. The Thompsons brought me home and introduced me to a boy with sharp features and intense dark eyes. "Ben, this is your new sister, Emily. She'll look after you at school," they said softly. Mrs. Thompson pushed me forward like I was a new toy. "Your job is to make sure your brother doesn't get hurt, understand?" I looked at the boy in front of me. "Got it." After the Thompsons left, Ben walked up to me, looking down with a sneer. After a moment, he said, "Who do you think you are, trying to be my sister?" Then, he grabbed my head and slammed it down onto the table. Hard. His eyes were wild, full of hate, like he was looking at a bug he wanted to squash. "Idiot!" Just then, Mrs. Thompson came back. She'd forgotten something. She saw me pinned by Ben, his hand around my neck, but she didn't seem surprised. She just grabbed her things, glanced at me with no emotion, and said, "Emily, pay attention. Don't let your brother get hurt." I could only move my eyes to look at Ben, and I quietly answered, "Got it. I'll take care of him." The way the Thompsons seemed to care for Ben, yet were so cold, made me feel sorry for him. They were truly pathetic. They soon left for their business trip. As soon as I was sure they were gone, I grabbed Ben's hair and yanked it down hard. I said calmly, "Let go of me, you brainless idiot." Ben, surprised by my reaction, let go and glared at me, angry. "How dare you talk to me like that? I'll tell mom and dad and they'll kick you out." I stepped around him, smiling a little. "Mom saw you choking me just now, and I didn't even fight back. So, brother, how could I possibly have insulted you?" As I went upstairs, I warned him, "You better behave while they're gone. Don't cause any trouble." And with that, I ignored his shocked expression and left. Ben was outside, banging on my door angrily, but I didn't care. Sarah wasn't satisfied with just pushing me into a bad situation. She started a live stream, acting all weak and sad, tears in her eyes. Holding up her phone, Sarah looked sweet and innocent, her dark hair down. She said tearfully, "My sister and I were raised by our grandmother, and I love her very much. Choosing between a life of luxury and the family we've always had." She paused, giving a sad smile. "Even though our grandmother isn't well, I decided to stay with her, hoping to spend more time with her." Sarah continued, "But my sister chose the rich family without looking back, not caring at all how our grandmother would live afterwards. I really think she's cold and unfeeling." As more people watched the stream, listening to Sarah's words, many started to criticize me harshly. Encouraged by the online reaction, Sarah quickly added, "I'm not saying my sister's choice was wrong. It's normal to want money when you have the chance. I understand her decision, of course." Sarah tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and said softly, "I will always be by my grandmother's side." She stared at her phone screen, showing a pure, innocent smile, like a delicate flower blooming in a desert. As she clasped her hands together, she said, "I will stay with her and be happy." People online fell for her innocent act. Her live stream was recorded and shared everywhere. Suddenly, everyone was praising her as a pure, untainted soul, while I was seen as a greedy, ungrateful brat. Not surprisingly, almost everyone at school saw the video. Alex, the school's prince, who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, had never met a girl who would so boldly choose family over wealth. Not only was she strong, but she seemed so harmless, too. I, on the other hand, was the greedy sister, looking even more sneaky and selfish in comparison. Alex hated people like me, so he blocked my way at the restroom, using his power. Alex smoked, squatting in front of me, blowing smoke in my face. "You're a dirty cockroach. What makes you think you deserve to be here?" Flicking the ash from his cigarette, he then pressed the burning tip into my arm, and I was held back, forced to watch as it burned my skin, leaving a blister. The boys around him laughed. Sarah was called over and saw what was happening, her eyes wide, hand over her mouth in fake shock. "How can you do this?" Alex, not caring, stood up and teased Sarah lightly. "Hey, sweet thing, I'm getting revenge for you. Don't you like it?" Sarah glanced at me, hiding her smirk. Then she stomped her foot and looked at Alex, pretending to be angry. "I don't like this. It's too much." Alex chuckled, pulling Sarah close as they left. "Don't like it. Next time I'll find another way." Sarah's sweet voice chimed in. "Alex, you shouldn't treat a classmate like that. It's not right." As they turned the corner, Sarah glanced back at me, her eyes full of contempt. She was pleased with herself. In our first life, Alex was the one who bullied her the most at school. Now, with her new image, Alex liked her, helping her bully me instead. But sister, living this life again and still just relying on guys? Is that all you've got? At first, Ben behaved at school, but after we turned in our test papers, I came back to find total chaos. Ben's desk was flipped over, his books scattered everywhere, and Ben himself was nowhere to be seen. The classmates still looked shocked. They said Ben was sitting there, just fine, but then, out of nowhere, he just snapped and started trashing everything. I found Ben in an empty classroom. The teachers were standing nervously at the door, but none of them dared to go in. He was sitting calmly on the only chair in the middle of the room, a dangerous look deep in his eyes. Sarah saw him, and a flash of anger crossed her face. Memories of being bullied by Ben's outbursts in our past life flooded back. She screamed in fear, "Ben's a maniac! He's sick! She's been looking after Ben for so long. Doesn't she know that people with his condition can't handle stress?" I stepped up and slapped Sarah hard, ordering her, "Shut up, don't say a word." She stumbled over to the wall. Sarah widened her eyes and was about to scream, but then she glanced quickly and saw Alex and his friends coming down the hallway. Her expression changed and she started to cry softly. "Why are you bullying me?" Alex saw what was happening and came rushing over, his jaw clenched in anger. "Hey, Emily, are you crazy?" I didn't pay any attention to Alex at all. Instead, I turned and stepped into the classroom that no one dared to enter and slammed the door shut behind me. Facing Ben's sudden, terrifying glare, I stayed calm and handed him his bottle of pills. "Take your meds," I said in a cold tone. Ben snapped, "Get out." Seeing me walk closer, Ben's fingers curled slightly. The next moment, he stood up and grabbed me by the neck, slamming me to the ground. His eyes were red, and he growled low in his throat. I said, "Get out." Honestly, I wasn't surprised, but we were at school, not at the Thompson house, a place where Ben could just do whatever he wanted. After all those years of working on the farm with Grandma, if anything, I was pretty strong. I pried Ben's hands off me without saying a word, grabbed him by the collar, and flipped him over, pinning him to the ground. Holding him down firmly, I said clearly, "Take your meds." Ben was in the middle of a manic episode and wasn't listening at all. He was struggling, trying to get up. "You dare treat me like this? I'm going to make my parents kick you out." My voice was icy. "Go ahead. If it weren't for Grandma owing a debt to the Thompson family and wanting to repay it, I wouldn't have come with them so easily in the first place." Ben couldn't get out of my grip. His gaze turned fierce, and he bit down hard on my arm. He didn't hold back, and in a flash, my blood was flowing, but I wasn't having it. I punched him in the face, bloody and ready to fight him. Ben had used up most of his energy earlier, too tired to fight back. When it was over, I had his arms pinned behind his back, forcing him to swallow the medication. Ben shot me a hateful look. "Emily, you're insane!" I slapped him, hard. "You're the one who's nuts, idiot!" Because Ben's meltdown happened at school, pretty much everyone found out he had bipolar disorder. Sarah made it worse, telling everyone Ben was a madman, violent and brutal, urging them to stay away from him. When Alex asked, Sarah immediately teared up. "Ben's really scary. I've seen him bully people before. I just wanted my classmates to be safe." Hearing this, any doubts Alex had quickly vanished, and Sarah seemed even kinder to him than before. He pulled her close with a wave of his hand. "Don't worry, stick with me. I won't let anyone bully you." Hearing that, Mary blushed slightly and playfully tapped Alex's arm. "What are you talking about?" "Thanks." Thanks to Sarah's stories, Ben, who was already an outsider, now had even a fewer people willing to be near him. It was just me keeping an eye on him at school, making sure he took his meds on time. Ben grew fed up with me, repeatedly telling me to get lost. Once I saw him swallow those pills, I just packed up and left. I wasn't planning on hanging around him, because the last time Ben flipped out, I impatiently slapped Sarah and Alex saw it. He saw it as bullying and grew to dislike me even more. At school, I'd often find nasty words like bitch or slut written all over my desk with a marker. In the cafeteria, people deliberately bumped into me, making my food spill all over. Sometimes, after going out and coming back, I'd reach into my backpack only to find snakes, mice, or cockroaches dead or alive. Seeing me stop in my tracks, Alex would be at the window ledge with his crew, laughing. But I kept a calm face, walked over, and stuffed the creatures right back down Alex's collar, exactly as they were. He freaked, jumping around to shake out the mouse, yelling, "Are you crazy?" I said nothing, just headed back to my seat. Alex's look was dark. He glared, "I'll kill you." There were more of them than me. I always tried to avoid crossing paths with them. If I did, I'd get a day of peace. If not, once they caught me, things could get ugly. But I never begged Alex for mercy, even when he was crushing my hand, looking down on me. "Tisk, Emily, you seem pretty tough." I was in so much pain, breaking into a cold sweat, but I kept silent. Finally, finding no more amusement, Alex turned away, leaving with his gang. I slowly got up from the ground, leaning against the wall, staring at Alex's back with a hoarse voice. "Alex, you better kill me if you get the chance. Otherwise, I'll drag you to hell with me." Alex turned back with a sneer. "Dumb ass. Do you think you're tough talking like that?" And with that, a bunch of guys burst into laughter. Ben often saw Alex bullying me, but he'd just glance at me with no emotion and walk away without a care. Sarah saw this and laughed, patting my face mockingly. Emily, you're chasing after Ben like a dog, but he never gave a damn about you. I didn't have the energy to hit Sarah at that moment. I just leaned against the wall to catch my breath. Once I did, I kicked at Sarah hard. She screamed and backed off a few steps, glaring at me furiously. Bitch, why aren't you dead yet? Then she suddenly laughed, so pleased with herself. It's not time yet, dear sister. Get ready for a long nightmare. Ben and Alex started fighting. By the time I got there, they were already wrestling in the classroom, looking pretty beat up. One was from the wealthy Thompson family of Philadelphia, the other from the Wilson family. Nobody dared to break them up, worried about getting caught in the middle. The homeroom teacher was outside, pacing anxiously. I noticed Sarah at the door, covering her mouth, excitedly watching the chaos. From the looks of it, she definitely played a part in getting these two, who usually never interacted, to fight. When Sarah saw me, she grinned smugly, showing off her teeth. The Thompson family parents are back from their trip, and they found out about Ben fighting. Guess what they'll do? She continued, Sister, you're done for. I was annoyed just seeing her and slapped her hard. Done, done, done. Without Alex to protect you, don't you know you're gonna get hit? After that, I ignored Sarah's screams behind me and walked into the classroom. Ben was in a manic state, his eyes bloodshot as he choked Alex. But Alex wasn't backing down either and was punching Ben in the face repeatedly. I picked up a long stick and, without hesitation, swung it at Alex's head. With a thud, Alex rolled his eyes and lost consciousness. Dropping the stick, I felt immensely satisfied. The teacher outside screamed in shock, Emily's got some guts! Quick, take Alex to the nurse. Seeing Alex pass out, but with Ben still choking him, I was afraid Ben might actually kill him. I had to pry Ben's fingers off Alex, calming him down. Cool it, Ben. Charlie glared at me with bloodshot eyes, looking like he might punch me too. But I was quicker, pinning his arms behind his back, restraining him. Chill. Charlie struggled, then bit down on my arm. Damn it, why was he biting like a mad dog? I spoke quickly. I'm the only one you know at school. I have your meds. I can take care of you. So, please, calm down, all right? I won't let anyone bully you. As he listened, maybe it was the taste of blood in his mouth. Charlie's red eyes locked on mine. And slowly, he let go. This whole thing blew up. The teacher called both families to the school. Alex's parents from the Wilson family looked at Alex's injuries and then at the Thompson family parents with a fake, polite tone. Your adopted daughter has quite the heavy hand. Hearing this, Mr. Thompson glanced at me before raising his hand and smacking me hard. My cheeks swelled immediately and I could taste the faint metallic tang of blood. Mr. Thompson smiled. Yes, this one's hard to tame. Sorry. In front of the Wilson family, Mr. Thompson harshly scolded me before telling me to get out so he could talk to them. As I left, Mr. Thompson lightly patted my shoulder, speaking softly. Well done. Seeing me leave with a swollen face, Sarah laughed triumphantly, covering her lips. Sister, you're finished. No avoiding the whip and kneeling now. Plus, with that madman acting up, he might just make you suffer horribly too. I was already fed up with her. Grabbing her neck, I slammed her against the wall, glaring coldly. Watch your mouth. He's sick, not crazy. Sarah gasped for air, her eyes tearing up as her face turned red, slapping at my hand desperately. Good dog for Charlie, huh? Protecting him like that? That's when Alex came out of the office, looking grim. Seeing me choking Sarah, he stepped forward and pulled us apart, looking annoyed. You're bullying your sister again? You're truly vicious. Remembering the hit I'd given him, Alex's eyes were cold as he glared at me with hatred. You really pissed me off this time, Emily. I smiled, looking at these two. Want to kill me? What a shame you're too late. Charlie walked out the door calmly. With a flick of his eyes, he grabbed me by the collar and started walking. Emily, let's go. Sarah watched, eyes wide with shock, almost in disbelief. No way! Since when did you get so close with him? I ignored him and shook off Charlie's hand, frowning at him. Are you nuts? Charlie paused, looking awkward. He opened his mouth but didn't say anything, lifted his leg and walked straight ahead. I watched Charlie carefully, feeling something was off. When something doesn't add up, there's usually a catch. After thinking for a bit, Charlie took a deep breath. I heard it when that person called me crazy. You stood up to her. Why'd you help me? Charlie seemed puzzled. I've never been good to you. I just sort of shrugged. I just didn't like her and needed a reason to teach her a lesson. Besides, I frowned, staring at Charlie, equally confused. I've always called you crazy. Charlie seemed to have started a one-sided Cold War with me. That's my guess, because when I used to supervise Charlie taking his meds, he'd sarcastically call me a dummy. Sometimes he'd mess with me on purpose, spilling his meds. But now, Charlie wouldn't even glance at me, taking his meds coldly and swallowing them straight down. I had no idea what kind of mood he was in, but this version of Charlie was easier to deal with. Once he finished his meds, I just went back to my spot to study. Thanks to the choices Sarah made in this life, even though Charlie was a bit of a loon, the Thompson family never stinted on the money. In my last life, I went to school during the day and helped my grandma sell roasted sweet potatoes at night. I had no money and couldn't afford extra study materials. I bought old workbooks at a discount from seniors, working through them over and over until they were worn out. Now there's a nanny at home, a driver to take me to and from school. Every month, Mrs. Thompson would deposit a large sum into my account. I never had to worry about money. On the other hand, Sarah's life was much more strained. Grandma was getting old, braving the harsh cold to sell sweet potatoes, earning barely enough. She relied on welfare checks to get by each month. But Sarah was used to a comfortable life before, so going back to a meager existence was tough for her. And her grades weren't great, leaving her future uncertain. Now, it was only Alex's affection that gave her a sliver of hope for the future. When Sarah came home occasionally, she'd angrily scold Grandma. Why can't you come up with money, old hag? Go earn some. I worried about Grandma's health with her advancing age, so I saved up my allowance and gave it to Grandma when Sarah wasn't around. I told her, buy whatever you need, but don't let Sarah boss you around. Take care, Grandma. Grandma held my hand, looking at me with those cloudy eyes, feeling guilty. Emily, it's Grandma's fault. I can't work anymore and sent you away. Emily, don't let anyone push you around out there. I felt my eyes sting, gripping Grandma's hand back with a smile. Grandma, I'm doing well. Mom and Dad treat me great. So does my brother. I won't be bullied. Grandma finally seemed relieved, gently patting my hand. That's good, that's good. When I was leaving, she insisted on giving me a bag of sweet potatoes. I grew these myself. They're healthy. Take them to your mom and dad. I couldn't say no, so I took them. Grandma, I'll drop by again next time. Take care. Grandma stood at the door, waving as I went, smiling cheerfully. Grandma will be waiting. Back home, I saw Charlie on the couch, flipping through a book restlessly. When he saw me, he sounded a bit annoyed. Where did you go? Why didn't you wait for me after school? When he noticed the muddy plastic bag I brought in, he looked even more disgusted. What's that? Looks filthy. I couldn't be bothered to respond to Charlie. I went into the kitchen and started washing the sweet potatoes. Charlie followed, arms crossed, standing there arrogantly. Why'd you buy that? I went to see Grandma. She grew these. Charlie had heard about my story and snorted. When I started cooking, he begrudgingly spoke up. Hey, Emily, can I try some too? I didn't add any seasoning, just boiled them. Charlie wrinkled his nose, picking at the skin with a fork, taking a tentative bite. It's okay. Your grandma grew them well. Seeing Charlie act so awkwardly for once, he didn't seem so annoying. When heading upstairs, I patted his head like you'd do to a dog. Finish your food. Don't waste it. Charlie's eyes widened, taking a sharp breath. Emily, how dare you? Since the last parent-teacher meeting, Alex had stayed somewhat out of trouble at school, but every time I passed him, his eyes were cold, definitely plotting something. Likewise, Sarah had quieted down, but she still looked at me with the same venom. Why aren't you in trouble? Why haven't you been hit? How do you do it, Emily? I just smiled back at her. You want to know? Next moment, I grabbed her by the neck, bending my head to whisper in her ear on the stairs. Then get on your knees and beg, sis. It was simple, really. Understand what each person needs. The Thompson parents were so busy with work, they needed someone to watch over their kids, provide stability. Charlie had been neglected since he was a kid. All he wanted was someone to be there to care. I just want to get through my college life peacefully, think it through, find a balance between these three things, and put in some effort, then problems will sort themselves out. Unfortunately, in her past life, Sarah was way too selfish, always looking out for herself and never backing down. That's what's different between us. Sarah's body shook with anger as she glared at me intensely. After a moment, she took a deep breath to suppress her rage and sneered, "Just you wait, Emily. Without Grandma by your side, do you really think Professor Anna would choose you as her student? In this life, dream on. I'm going to live a better life than you in this lifetime." After Christmas, the weather suddenly turned cold. It rarely snowed in Philadelphia, but now it did. Since that last harsh encounter, Sarah has been trying extra hard to win over Alex. After all, getting Alex's favor and becoming the fiancé of the heir to the Wilson family is quite glamorous, something she wouldn't have even dared to dream of in her past life. As the new year nears, the school is decorated with festive lanterns everywhere, looking brand new. I know these efforts are to welcome the keynote speech by an esteemed academician from the agricultural school. Meanwhile, I lead a routine life, shuttling between school and home. Occasionally, when Sarah isn't home, I visit Grandma. This kind of life is peaceful, and I like it. Ever since Charlie didn't wait for me after school, he's been keeping a close eye on me. Whenever I visit Grandma, this young master waits in the car, lowering himself to accompany me. He claims it's because he's worried I might cause trouble. Me, who would be the one causing trouble? Really? Sometimes when Charlie gets impatient waiting, he'll come inside, looking grumpy. Seeing someone like Charlie in this cramped urban apartment is indeed a bit odd. Grandma nervously wipes her hands, unsure how to entertain him. Charlie picks a small stool, cleans it off, and sits down without getting angry. As holding a paper cup with his fingers, he sarcastically comments, "If I sit any longer, my rheumatism might flare up." I glare at Charlie. "Young master, sit if you want or get lost." Charlie glares back but doesn't budge, as if glued to the stool. He didn't move until I finished helping Grandma. Looking at Charlie kindly, Grandma chuckles. "Charlie, come by with Emily again next time." Charlie coughs dryly, reluctantly smiling at Grandma. "See you next time." As we step out, we run into someone unexpected. Alex stands gloomily at the alley's entrance, followed by his crew, holding sticks. Alex gives us a sinister smile. "Finally caught you." He walks over slowly. "You picked a great spot. No cameras, nobody around." Tapping the stick in his hand, he says, "Even if I knock you both out today, no one would know." Alex was trailing us. I quickly scanned our surroundings, assessing the situation. Charlie isn't afraid of anything. He glances at Alex and coldly spits, "Idiot." Alex laughs furiously. "We'll see today who's the real idiot." I take a step back and nudge Charlie with my elbow, whispering, "Follow my lead." Charlie raises an eyebrow, surprised. "You can fight?" Watching Alex get closer, I start a soft countdown. 3, 2, 1. Charlie calmly asks, "Who do you want to hit?" At the last moment, I grab Charlie's hand, shout, "Run!" and we take off. Shocked, Charlie yells, "Weren't we going to fight back?" I'm familiar with running through these alleys, pulling Charlie along swiftly. While panting, I manage to scold, "Are you crazy? They have 18 people and we're just 2. How could we fight? Having guts is good, but not knowing when to back down makes you a fool. My brain and hands are crucial. My dream is to cultivate high-end wheat, unique to China. I can't get hurt." Charlie snorts dismissively. "Coward." But he's not stupid enough to go back and fight Alex. After that, Charlie keeps quiet. Thankfully, I used to live here a long time, so I know the layout well. I lead us through a dead end, quickly climbing over a wall and pulled Charlie up too. Once we're hidden, I listen for Alex's crew moving away. Only then do I breathe a sigh of relief. Turning to Charlie, I see him staring at me, dumbfounded. I frown. "What are you looking at?" After hesitating a moment, he mutters, "That wall climb was pretty cool." Sarah stirred up trouble again. One night, she unexpectedly showed up at the Thompson family's place, crying her eyes out with a camera in hand. She tearfully knocked on our door. "Sister, Grandma's sick. You should go see her." Behind the scenes where no cameras reach, Sarah's eyes flashed with malice, her voice weak but insistent. Come with me. Go see Grandma. Sarah moved out a long time ago because she hated the shabby home, comfortably settling into the apartment Alex rented for her, rarely visiting. If Grandma were sick, how would she know before me? I just saw Grandma not too long ago. She was healthy and looking good. Sarah's act is nothing but a trick. I checked the surveillance at Grandma's place. After making sure she was all right, I was about to close the door. Come on, sis, Sarah interrupted, acting all desperate. I'm serious, sis. Grandma's sick and wants to see you. I chuckled. Sarah, act better next time and maybe I'll consider it. Charlie came out from behind me, looking down at Sarah like she was something insignificant. He frowned in disgust. Does every Tom, Dick, and Harry think they can just knock on our door? What's the security even for? Charlie hit the intercom button. His voice called, Security, get her out of here. Sarah was escorted away by security, tears in her eyes. As she left, she held her phone camera pointed at us, her eyes full of resentment. She mouthed, You're done for. Yeah, right, like I didn't see her with her phone out. I was just letting this storm build. The higher you climb, the harder you fall, right? On the scheduled day, Dr. Anna, a well-known scholar from the Agricultural Institute, arrived. Many reporters came to the school to interview her. As the principal was respectfully inviting Dr. Anna to detour the school, Sarah burst in, crying and holding her phone. She knelt, grabbing onto Dr. Anna's skirt, tears streaming down her face. Please help me, teacher. Ever since my sister got adopted by the Thompsons, she hasn't cared about me or Grandma, and she's been bullying me at school. I can't take it anymore. Dr. Anna, being a kind mentor, helped Sarah up, concerned. Child, what happened exactly? Who's your sister? Sarah, sobbing, wiped her eyes. My sister is Emily. Hearing that, Dr. Anna paused with a keen look. Softly, she asked, Can you tell me what happened in detail? Reporters, seeing the drama unfold, instinctively pointed their cameras at Sarah. When she mentioned bullying, their eyes lit up, eager for a story. Don't worry, kid, they assured her. We're reporters. We'll get you justice. Sarah slowly raised her tear-stained face, showing the video on her phone. The video was from the other night when she tearfully knocked on the Thompson family's door. As the video ended, reporters were outraged. This is outrageous. How could she be so ungrateful? Bullying. What's going on? Student welfare is crucial. We can't tolerate campus bullying. Dr. Anna exhaled softly, turning to the principal. Please bring the other child here. I'd like to hear her side. The sudden commotion had the principal sweating bullets. He quickly called me to his office. As soon as I walked in, he sternly reprimanded me. Emily, even if you were adopted by the Thompsons, Sarah is still your family. How can you bully your sister just because you're from a wealthy family now? I faced the principal, calm and confident. Principal, are you saying bullying is unacceptable regardless of who it is? Of course. This is a school. Students are students, no matter what their family background is. We can't tolerate bullying. Hearing this, I smiled. Principal, I'm reporting Alex for bullying me. The room fell silent. Alex, the spoiled heir of Philadelphia's Wilson family, was not someone to cross. Cameras pivoted back to me faster than ever. The principal, sweating, slammed his hand on the desk. That's ridiculous. Explain your own bullying incident before falsely accusing Alex. I slowly looked away, sighing. First, Sarah accusing me of bullying is a complete fabrication. It's unfounded. Sarah looked visibly flustered. You're lying, she insisted, asking the principal to check the hallway cameras for the footage of me allegedly slapping her. The footage showed clearly I did slap Sarah. The principal slammed the desk again. Emily, care to explain? I shifted my gaze, shaking my head. I admit I slapped Sarah. It was a momentary act of anger, and I'm willing to be punished. Sarah showed a smug expression, but I continued. However, every time I've hit Sarah, it's been provoked. My brother Charlie suffers from bipolar disorder, so he's emotionally unstable. Yet Sarah spread rumors at school, calling him a lunatic, aggravating his condition. Moreover, she made these comments right to my face. I looked at everyone. Charlie's a good brother, and I can't tolerate Sarah insulting him. Everyone knew about Charlie's condition. The principal seemed thoughtful. A reporter spoke up. Verbal conflicts leading to physical reactions are understandable, but it's not direct evidence of bullying. Dr. Anna, after hearing everything, tapped the table and glanced at me. So, your sister says you ignored your elderly grandma. What's that about? I nodded, looking straight at Professor Anna. I quietly said, maybe if my grandma comes in and explains, it'll be more convincing. Charlie led Grandma into the office. On the way, Grandma had already heard the whole story. She looked at Sarah with a disappointed look, as if she couldn't understand why a kid like her would behave that way. Grandma, choking back tears, said, Emily is a good kid. She's been working with me in the field since she was little and never complained. With her shriveled, aged hands, she fumbled in her pockets, pulling out a tightly wrapped cloth pouch. She unwrapped it, revealing a bank card. Grandma gently stroked the card, tears streaming down her face. After Emily was adopted by the Thompson family, she came to see me every month and saved all her pocket money for me. Even though she was busy studying, she still worried about my health and came back often to help me with the chores. Mary, Grandma, her eyes clouded with tears, spoke with guilt. Is it because I didn't have enough education that I didn't raise you well? How could you lie and slander Emily like that? Hearing Grandma's words, Sarah's face turned pale. She kept shaking her head. What are you talking about, Grandma? I never knew Emily visited you. Sarah smiled awkwardly. Don't lie for her, Grandma. Grandma shakily took a couple of steps forward, trying to kneel down in front of everyone. I swear, Emily is truly a good child. She's never done anything cruel or heartless. Don't be hard on her. Seeing Grandma's actions, I immediately rushed forward and supported her. Grandma shook my hand off and knelt, bowing her head. It's my fault. I didn't teach Emily well. Don't blame her. The reporters, sharp-eyed from many such scenes, could tell who was telling the truth and who wasn't. I helped Grandma up and looked at Sarah with a cold smile. Of course you don't know I visited Grandma because you were ashamed of the poor environment. You moved out early. Ask yourself, how many times did you visit Grandma in the 6 months after you moved out? Worried that Grandma might fall sick with no one to care for her? I installed cameras at home. Watching Sarah's face turn paler inch by inch, I added calmly, if you lived there, you'd know, but do you know? I pulled up footage from the cameras saved on my phone. The video showed Sarah rarely going home, and when she did, she rifled through Grandma's things, looking for her savings, demanding money. Sensing this, I had warned Grandma to hide the bank card I gave her, so Sarah never found it. The video showed Sarah impatiently shoving Grandma and cursing, you worthless old woman, you're a waste alive with no money. What's the point of me staying with you? Grandma, pushed over, stumbled, and could only apologize. I'm sorry, I'm useless and can't earn money. After viewing these videos, I was furious, rushing to Grandma's house overnight and taking her to get checked. Luckily, nothing serious happened. The evidence now became a weapon against Sarah. From the start, Sarah placed her phone secretly on the bookshelf, live streaming everything, with the intention of turning people against me. But things turned around quickly. I blocked her from stopping the live stream, and viewers went from sympathizing with Sarah to realizing the truth. They started angrily denouncing her. Wow, she's disgusting. Such a fake, innocent act. I can't believe it. I thought she stayed with Grandma out of love. She was just using her. So shameful. I regret defending her. Professor Anna helped Grandma sit down and softly said, Mrs. Sarah, take a break and have some water. Grandma once worked in Anna's lab doing manual labor. In a past life, after remembering the old lady, Anna visited her after a lecture and discovered my knack for agriculture. Thanks to that, I got into an agricultural college and became her student. In this life, Sarah tried to keep me from meeting Anna and continuing my career path. But I had planned ahead and sent my papers to Anna's email. After reading my research, Anna was impressed and already planned to meet me on the day of her lecture. When Sarah barged in crying, Anna decided to get the facts straight before making any judgments. And things turned out just as Anna expected. Looking at me again, Anna smiled warmly. Emily, you're indeed a good child. I knew you were. Then she firmly addressed the principal. Now that the misunderstanding about Emily is cleared, it's time to address Alex's bullying incidents. Seeing this unfold, the principal's forehead glistened with even more sweat. As he wiped it repeatedly, I chuckled. Of course, let's check the surveillance footage before jumping to conclusions. Mentioning this almost made Sarah lose her balance. But I calmly pulled up the footage, showing the scene where Alex and his crew cornered me, in full detail. Unlike Sarah, I wouldn't be stupid enough to act so blatantly and make a big fuss. I know how to bide my time and pick my moment. When I strike, it's like a lethal falcon. Today, I'm solving all of it. Alex bullied me. That's a fact. Today, with Anna present, several top reporters from the Philadelphia newspaper gathered. For them, a story of high society bullying is like catching a whiff of blood. No way they'd let it go without tearing off a piece of flesh. No one, not even Alex, the prestigious Wilson family prince, could protect him. Things went as I expected. With evidence, the fact was undeniable. Reporters blew up the story about Alex bullying his classmate. Overnight, the Wilson family stock tanked, and even Alex stayed away from school for a few days. Afraid of Alex's crazy retaliation, I was extra cautious, sticking to my school routine and not lingering outside. Inevitably, I ran into Alex. He looked terrible, with dark circles under his eyes. He stopped me. Emily, can we talk? I glanced around to make sure we were surrounded by students, then warily replied, I have nothing to discuss with you. Alex ignored me, lighting a cigarette. He exhaled slowly and asked, The alley where I cornered you, is that where your grandma lives? I frowned, unsure of his point, defensive. I replied, Don't try to bother my grandma. I've moved her somewhere you can't find her. Alex chuckled, tossed the cigarette, and stamped it out. I'm not planning revenge, he said quietly. After a pause, he added, Amazing how I never realized Sarah never actually cared for her grandma, despite what she said. Alex closed his eyes in frustration. This is my karma. I hated you before, thinking you were greedy, just like my dad, who's responsible for my mom's death. It turns out I was the fool, played like a puppet while thinking I was the moral one. Alex grimaced and, with awkward motion, apologized. I'm sorry, Emily. I stepped back calmly. Don't be pathetic. If apologies worked, why would we need the police? With that, I turned and walked away. Alex stood behind, quietly watching me leave. You can think of me as pathetic, he muttered. Rumors said Alex dumped Sarah soon after. Gossip spread that Sarah was pregnant. She caused a scene at the Wilson house, demanding responsibility. But it wasn't Alex who dealt with her, it was his father. Already in a foul mood due to stock losses, Mr. Wilson couldn't stand seeing Sarah, the cause of Alex's public fiasco. Though he smiled, his words were cold. How do you know the baby is my son's? A woman like you, he glanced her over, can get a bunch with just a gesture. Why do you think you're worth something? Dismissing her, Mr. Wilson ordered, Take her away, have the baby gone, and send her wherever she belongs. Forced into an abortion, Sarah lost weight rapidly, her cheeks sunken. Grandma heard about it and was heartbroken, blaming herself for not raising Sarah well. But I knew it was Sarah's own downfall. To spare Grandma's sadness, I agreed to visit Sarah in the hospital. Sarah lay there with vacant eyes, whispering, Why? Why is my fate the same, even after living again? Why can't I compete with you? Watching from a distance, I remained expressionless. Your biggest mistake is pinning hope on others. In your past life, you tried to rely on the Thompson family to become a lady, but they had other plans. You couldn't accept it, fighting against them without considering Charlie's condition, creating a vicious cycle that made Charlie dislike you more. This life, you tried to rely on Alex's affection to become a wealthy wife, but the person Alex liked was a fake version of you. You can't fake it forever. You could have chosen a path better suited for you. The biggest difference between us, sister, is I rely only on myself. Sarah was stunned, her face pale as she shook her head, insisting, I'm not like you, not like you. She screamed until I was asked to leave. Later, I heard about Sarah indulging in the nightlife after recovering. With her looks, she definitely attracted a lot of wealthy men. But those men were only toying with her. Once they got bored, they quickly discarded her. None of them wanted to marry her. They sneered, You're just a tramp who's been with too many guys. If it weren't for your face, I wouldn't even consider it. In a matter of months, Sarah had several forced abortions. The last time she met Alex at a bar, seeing Alex surrounded by people, Sarah, with tears in her eyes, grabbed a knife and walked toward him. Alex was stabbed multiple times and rushed to the ER, condition unknown. Sarah was arrested and jailed for assault. I saw this news while checking my test scores due to a web notification. After the college entrance exam, Charlie did well, scoring 531. Enough for a good college in Philly. I scored 739, topping the city's science stream. I had a clear path, the same agricultural college Anna had attended. My responsibility to look after Charlie was done, and I decided to say goodbye to the Thompson family. I handed over a card. "This is the prize money from my high school competitions and patents," I said. "I saved all the allowance you gave me, too. I was adopted by the Thompsons to repay them for helping my grandma back then. Now it was time to leave." Hearing this, Charlie clenched his fists, incredulous. "You're leaving?" he asked. I smiled, comforting him. "Charlie, no one stays with you forever. You have to learn to part ways." Charlie's condition had improved a lot. His bipolar episodes were rare now. "Besides," I softened, "I have my dreams to chase." My dream was to cultivate high-end wheat, to make China self-sufficient in luxury crops and not rely on imports. I wanted locals to choose domestic produce first so farmers could earn a decent income. I dreamed that my grandma's hard-grown crops wouldn't be sold for dirt cheap anymore. In my past life, I developed the dream wheat variety. Now, it was all a vision. Currently, China lacks premium agricultural products in the global market. Despite being an agricultural powerhouse, it's the largest food importer. That, and the fact that most of China, except for parts like the Northeast Plain, can't fully mechanize farming due to its terrain. I believe with my past experience, I can cultivate the ideal wheat variety sooner and even improve it to better suit China's needs. But I didn't expect that on the first day of college, Charlie showed up with his luggage, lazily standing before me. I was a bit taken aback. "What are you doing here?" He casually threw an arm over my shoulder and smirked. "Your brother can't let you wander alone out there. I decided to go to a school next to yours to watch over you," Charlie said, nudging me to help with his paperwork. "There's a lot of people, and I get headaches in crowds." While my hands were full, he slipped a card into my bag, grinning. "The Thompsons are loaded. We can afford a kid like you. Why be so dramatic? Having a genius sister is a big deal. The family can't wait to spoil you. Why live like a monk?" Charlie said, ruffling my hair. "Don't worry, I've arranged for Grandma to be taken care of. She'll be fine." Genius. You focus on using your brains to change the world. Anything else, your brother's got it covered. What are you afraid of?" He reassured. "Once a brother, always a brother. I'll have your back for life." By age 25, under Anna's guidance, our team successfully cultivated high-end wheat. It was high in yield, great in taste, and easy to grow. In just a few years, China's wheat was selling globally. The high patent fees from the seeds and export profits boosted China's agriculture significantly. Making agriculture profitable attracted more people to the field. At 29, during the National Science and Technology Award ceremony, our team was nominated for our significant contributions to agriculture through wheat research. Grandma sat in the audience, wiping tears. She clapped excitedly and said, "Emily, I'm proud of you." Charlie smiled at me, congratulating, "Sister, you made your dream come true." And I walked towards them amidst the thunderous applause and flashing cameras.